Hello, Andrew Hewlett here with my questions for God. And today I wanted to look at the issue of Christian hypocrisy. Why is it that some Christians can get so far off base and be hypocritical? We all know, too, that the church, down through the ages, although it's done some amazingly good things, it's also done some terrible things as well. More personally, many have been wounded by individuals, pastors or priests, maybe by a co-worker who is a Christian, maybe a neighbor who claims to be a Christian and is a total jerk. Many have had these situations. So it's not just an academic question, it's something deeply personal. And it may be that you've been wounded by these people as well. I know as a church pastor, I've seen the best and the worst. And I have seen people be deeply wounded by other Christians, and that's so sad. And it causes me to say, God, why? Why is this? As Christians, we're supposed to be ambassadors or examples of Jesus, but so often it's not the case. And in many cases, Christians, by their lifestyle, what they've done or haven't done, have actually turned off many people from the church. And even more important, they've turned people off of Jesus Christ. And it is so sad. And I would just say, here are a few things that are worth reflecting on or thinking about, things that I found helpful. One, for me, I've tried to see the church as a hospital, a place where there are broken and wounded people. The church is not a place where people have arrived. It's not just for the holy. It's really a place where broken people can come and find hope and hopefully some healing. So seeing the church from that perspective makes a big difference. It's not a place for the holy. It's not a place for people that have arrived or reached some level of spiritual development. It just doesn't work this way. We're all broken and we need one another and we need God. So that's an important thing, how we see the church and this image of the hospital. The other thing I would say is that Jesus knew that religious hypocrisy was going to be a reality. And he spoke about it on a number of different situations. He warned about it and he spoke about it. He talked also in the book of Revelation, if you look there too, he addresses the church. And it appears that there are various churches and it's a mixed bag. There are some churches that are really doing well, doing the things that Jesus wanted them to do. And there are others that seem to have gotten totally off base. So seeing the church is always a bit of a mixed bag. He also warned too, this is a little more shocking, but he also warned in Matthew 23 that there are some people that could have a life that's completely fraudulent. They're completely self-deceived, that unlike most Christians they're not perfect, but they're trying to follow the teachings of Jesus and they're continually falling down and they need forgiveness. But there are some people that are completely fraudulent in their faith, or they've deceived themselves and maybe they're deceiving others. And he said he's speaking about the end of time, where he says, on that day some will say, Lord, Lord, didn't we do wonderful miracles in your name? And he'll say to them, depart from me, I never knew you. So that's a very sobering passage. So Jesus, this wasn't a surprise to him. He knew that this was going to happen. The big question, I think the thing that's most important is, whatever's happened to you, if you've received some deep wounds by other Christians or not, are you going to be put off from Jesus Christ? Are you going to reject Jesus Christ because of the examples of others? And I can understand how that can happen. But it would be so sad, again, not to go to a hospital because there are wounded and broken people there. In the same way, it would be so sad to say, I don't want to have anything to do with the church or anything because of it's so broken. You know, we're all in this together. And it would be so sad if we rejected Jesus because of the failings of some of his followers. And again, it may be that we've been deeply wounded. It's so sad. It's such an ugly thing to see religious hypocrisy. But don't let that keep you from the love, the forgiveness, the grace, and the life that Jesus Christ offers. It's so important that we make that distinction. And it's understandable if you've been hurt or you're disillusioned. But I would just encourage you, to take the risk and look into the person of Jesus Christ. You know, I've also trying to learn that if somebody really rubs me the wrong way, or if I'm wounded or hurt, whether they're Christian or not, I'm trying, I haven't arrived there, but I'm trying to say, okay, instead of being just really angry, I'm trying to say, what can I learn from this on my spiritual journey? What can I learn? Because maybe God is using that person to teach me something about forgiveness, getting along with those that I don't naturally resonate with. Maybe I can learn something from this situation. The other thing that I think is important is to balance out positive examples with some of the negative examples that you may have seen. So you might think of some of the great saints down through the ages, people that are human, are fallen and broken, but maybe in some way have reflected the light of Jesus Christ. We might think of somebody like William Wilberforce, who helped eradicate slavery. People like Mother Teresa, who has given her life or gave her life for reaching out for the outcasts and people that were totally rejected by society. People like Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who really gave his life for fighting against fascism. People like Corrie ten Boom, who risked her life to save Jews from the Nazis in Germany. People like Martin Luther King Jr., who risked his life, and I actually gave his life for the cause of racial equality. So these aren't people that are perfect, but in some way they reflect the light of Jesus. And you may know other people too that you've run across who aren't perfect, but in some way have reflected the light of Jesus Christ. And I hope you're able to bring those people to mind as well, and not just to focus on those that have been really terrible, bad examples or have been very hypocritical in their faith. Again, don't let the hypocrisy and brokenness of others keep you from the love and grace and life that's found in the person of Jesus Christ. Anyways, I hope those are some helpful things to reflect on. Now, I don't have a joke today, but it's kind of humorous. It's a bit gut-wrenching, but it's kind of humorous. I believe it's a true story, but apparently there was a Christian leader who was leaving a conference, and apparently he was fired up and really charged up about his Christian faith. And as he left, the traffic was really heavy, and he got more and more frustrated as he's driving along. And to the point where the traffic was slowing right down, he was getting more and more angry, to the point that it was almost completely stopped. And at that point, where he was getting very frustrated, forgetting all the good things that he had just learned, there was a young kid behind him, and the car started honking his horn, continuously honking his horn. And this guy was getting really angry because it was complete gridlock. He couldn't go anywhere. And this young punk is honking on his horn like this. Well, the fellow got more and more angry. And finally, he got out of his car, went back to the other car, reached in, grabbed the guy by the scruff of the neck and said, "If you honk your horn one more time, I'm going to smash your face in." And the young kid looked a little sheepish and said, "Oh, I'm sorry. it's your bumper sticker. It says, honk if you love Jesus. So it's a great little story. Now, the way I heard it, that this person actually got down on their knees right there and confessed what they did to this guy and to God. But anyways, it's a great little anecdote and a warning, I suppose, as well. Thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye, and God bless.